All right, the watch list for September 1st, Friday. So August is in the books, guys. We had another pretty low volume day, but another gap up and fairly decent day for the SPY. Before I get into the watch list for tomorrow, just a quick reminder our last live day trading course is 2 weeks from Saturday, so it is really, really coming up fast. Visit the website, you see a great sale, and also up until the course, probably, we're still going to offer a lifetime membership to our chat room for less than a 1 year membership. And then the lifetime won't be available anymore in 2017. So it's a great time to join us. And I think you're going to learn a lot because we look at the market probably different than anybody else that you've ever come across. And one more thing I'm really proud of, you'll never hear a moderator go, I'm in XYZ, and then watch all of our members hopefully pile in and or have them pile in the pre-market because I mention a stock. You ever been in a room where the moderator's talking about the pre-market gappers and what he might buy at the open, and then people pile in because he mentioned it about 9:15, about 15 minutes before the market opens, anywhere from 9 to 9:15 in the morning? He says, well, I might be looking to buy this one at the open, and you see people in pre-market in that room start to buy it, and then they sell it because he didn't buy it, and so on. That is not trading. That's just goofy stuff. And that's another nice thing. I've never ever bought a stock at the open. I don't. It has to give me a setup that we teach in our course. So you just want to be really careful out there because, man, if you're in a room where the moderator is just literally buying something, a low float stock that's gapping, and he's buying it right at the opening bell, I would say it's a coin flip. It's a 50-50. No, it's anyone's guess if it's going to go up or down because it can open higher than it should. It can open lower than it should, depending on the news and depending on everything else, order flow. So if your moderator is buying it right at the open, if you look at the participants list and there's 1,000 people in the room, well, that's why he's buying it at the open because he knows he's got 1,000 people to hopefully sell into. Because there is no trade setup that is buy at the open. I can't emphasize that enough. There's no such thing as buy at the open. It can go either way. It's a complete coin flip. All right, we teach in our course exactly what to look for in the opening 2 or 3 or 4 minutes on a morning gap play, and then you know exactly when to get in, if at all. A lot of them don't set up, which is great because it keeps you out of trouble. All right, anyway, I've babbled long enough. Here's the watch list for Friday. Finish line I'm going to watch again. After the gap down and the nice intraday rally, it's kind of flagging, so I want to watch it again. No trades in it today. OHGI, a quiet inside day on lower volume. I don't know. Sometimes you get a third day play, so that one goes on watch. Not in love with that one. PYDS. Now, this thing has made a huge move, so it's stupid extended, but I want to watch it tomorrow anyway, and certainly all next week. I'll show you where I called it in chat today. Again, guess what? I didn't call it right at the open because that's a coin flip. But it took off and had decent volume for this stock. And then sellers came in right here. Topped out at 180. On the next 2-minute candle, topped out at 180 again. Sellers came in. My idea was if these sellers fail, this thing's going to continue higher. So I liked it over 180. And it went all the way to actually the end of the day. Somebody jumped in at the end of the day too and is closing strong. Now, so it went from my call of 181 to 240 today. That's a huge move. The stop was, I think I said, a 7-cent risk. If you go back to 2-minute candles, once this thing triggered, it never even looked back, right? So there was no, oh, actually, I guess it did come back down here, but came back down 2 or 3 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents below the open. And the risk was 7 cents. So anyway, and then just ripped higher. It's really, really extended right now. I don't ever really want to teach people to watch something that's made this big of a move, but sometimes you get an early sell-off and then you get a quick reversal and a red to green and you can make some money on it. So, certainly watch that all next week, but it's worth watching tomorrow. We never know if it's going to set up or not. BETR, I don't love this one, but I showed you this big move yesterday afternoon. Then today, you could argue after that move, it's really just kind of forming a flag. So I still like it over this 2-day high. No trades in it today. RADA has been holding up pretty well. It's just kind of flagging here. It's still a little bit. I'd like to see the moving averages catch up. Maybe next week sometime this thing continues higher, but it's been really strong. I'm not in love with it for tomorrow. JMEI. Nice little extra volume push. A big mover back here. Came back down to that buy zone you hear me talk about between the 8 and 20-day moving average, and it's heading higher. And a little extra volume today, so I want to watch that for a follow-through day tomorrow. ANTH. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see. You had a spike here, spike here, and then it's right back up to these highs. So I guess I like it over 169. Who knows? We'll see how it trades tomorrow, but decent volume, for that stock. I would note that this big volume spike was still only 1.6 million shares, so not my favorite setup. JC Penney's, I still think this thing's trying to bottom. I've been saying that since it was about down here, and now it's kind of popped up and going sideways. A lot of shorts in this name. I still want to watch this for a breakout to the upside one of these days. IDXG is still in this tight range. I said this morning when it had news, the news was that they've regained compliance, right, with NASDAQ listing requirements. And I said, I love this chart. I think it's due to rip higher out of this, sideways flag. I said, but I hate that news because I almost think there's no way it's going to be able to rip, with that headline floating, because people are going to jump in and say, well, if it starts running, people are going to say this news, NASDAQ compliance, is not worthy of a rip. So I still think this chart's beautiful, but I didn't really want it to break out today. I'm kind of glad it didn't. Still stays on watch. RNN had this spike, red day, and kind of hanging on near recent high, so we're going to watch that one. IPI, pretty handsome daily chart here. I'll pan out a little bit. So you had a really nice move here, and you can picture a trend line right there. So it's really flagging on the daily. Want to keep our eyes on IPI. And then lastly, I've got AUPH, which kind of broke out of a tight range today. It doesn't generally move very far. There's a big candle for this one, and it was probably a little over 50 cents. So, but a little extra volume today and a nice breakout. So I want to watch that one. We'll find some gappers in the morning to stock as well as this list. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great night.